The stream is live.
Okay, now let me hit, we'll go live. There we go. I'm doing it, folks. Maybe. Why is that? Here we go. I'm doing that. And we're live everywhere. Oh, yay me. I'm so doggone excited. I can hardly stand it. And I'm so excited to be chatting with my old friend, Melinda Curtis, that I can hardly stand it. Before we get started, though, and please ring in and tell us where you're coming in from. Everybody say a hi. Before we start, I have to point to, because I know at some point you're going to look at this big thing. I always get reversed here, the mirror image on my schnozola. I am not trying out to be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer's second cousin. And this is not a birthmark that appeared many, many years after birth. This is like a little skin treatment. And here's your public service announcement. If you have spent any time in the sun over the years, you need to start doing regular skin checkups, because these little weird rough spots and things start showing up on your skin. And even if you got like a little rough spot, like, why, how come the moisturizer isn't working? It might be because that's a little precancerous thing. So you want to get in and get your skin checked on. This is getting burned off. They gave me creepy medicine to put on it, and I'm all gross and scabbing over. But you know what? That beats ending up with skin cancer. And I do see we've got people ringing in. Hey, hi, Tanya. She's coming in, and Kathy is here. Kathy is on my street team. So hi, guys. Now we know that people are seeing us. That is good. And Melinda, we were just talking before we went on, and you said, being a California girl originally, you too have experienced some of this. Got to get the skin taken care of stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. I've had, stuff cut out of me and stuff frozen off of me. And then there's the Fluorosil medicine that you apply the cream every day. And it disintegrates the cancerous cells on the top layer of your skin. It's all lovely. Growing old is not for the faint of heart.
We're not old. We're just mature. And I said, here, hi, Robin. So great. Anyway, so let's get to the actual introduction here. If any of you have read any Harlequin books at some point in your life, I'm sure you have read something by Melinda Curtis, because she has written. How many books have you written over the years for Harlequin? Can you think off the top of your head?
It's approaching 50.
Wow.
It's approaching 50. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, that is so cool. And
what is your number?
Not just Harlequin, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you add up the things that I've published myself and published from Small Press and from Forever Romance, then it's closer to 90. I want to say 90 books.
Wow. That's pretty
makes me feel old. Seeds.
My goodness, that's amazing. That's a huge body of work. And we'll talk more about that as we get going here. But I just want to say a little bit here. Give us a little, I think it'd be fun to get a little background from Melinda. I'm trying to remember, we met, it was years ago I think it was at a writer's conference. I can remember sitting at a lunch table with you, and I don't remember who else, but I just remember you being there, and we all chatted, and we sort of became buddies, and we've done some different things together over the years. And I haven't done anything with you in a while. I thought, oh my gosh, I need to catch up with Mel. And so it's really a delight to have you here, because Melinda is such a neat gal. And Melinda, I'm just wondering if you, like the rest of us, started out at a young age writing. Were you writing stories as a kid, or is this something you did later? You did. Oh, can you tell a little bit about what you did before you became a professional writer? Because she's got kind of an interesting story. I don't know if you can share that or not.
My life before I was a writer?
Your career girl life, because you did pretty.
My career girl life, I wore heels and a suit, skirts back then. Pants are in fashion now, but yeah, I mean, I would fly with the big ducks. In corporate America. I was in corporate America, and a couple times over a period of like 2 years, I would fly with the CEO and people on the private jet. And what people don't understand about smaller private jets, like 6-seaters, it's just 3 on one side, 3 on the other, and kind of facing each other. And then there's one more seat on the plane. And if the CEO says, oh, we want Melinda to come with us on the plane.
Yeah.
And either someone gets bumped or you get the jump seat, what's called the jump seat. So the jump seat is when you walk in, there's a little porta potty with a little curtain that goes around, and it has a seat belt, and it has like a lawn cushion.
That's what you're. This is ruining the fantasy.
So imagine me with my heels, skirt, silk blouse, jacket, shoulder pads, because they were in, strapping myself to a porta potty.
That you've just, I mean, I'm thinking of, you see all these movies where the movers and shakers and then there are cool planes and everybody remember the old movie Sabrina and they're in the fancy jet and she's in there. I'm like, oh, that rather bursts my bubble just a little bit. But
Well, I think it's like the Hyundai of corporate jets, right? I mean, they're fancy jets, and this corporation did not have a fancy jet at their disposal.
well, they still had a jet, so I have to say that's pretty cool. But now, but circling back, so you did the corporate America thing. Were you writing things as a child? Because most of us started out as kids making up stories. Were you one of those, or did you just wait to become a grown up to make up stories?
Yeah, I was in an avid reader household. We all read, my brothers, my mom, and me. And when I was in the 7th or 8th grade, I kind of found my posse. They're still my posse today. These 5 other ladies. And I used to write, like fangirl fiction with them as the heroines, right? I mean, it sounds cliche because a lot of authors do that, right? They write before they get published. And then when I had my second baby, I was writing and I was trying to write and I couldn't really finish, right? I couldn't get over the finish line. And I noticed that there was a woman, it was a Harlequin Desire, maybe it was a Desire. And in the front, before the internet, right? I'm dating myself now. She had a P.O. box to write to. And I wrote to her because she was 45 minutes away from me. I lived kind of in an odd place in California. And I said, how does like your every average day super mom like learn how to write? And she invited me to join the Sacramento romance writers and to, drive it. She took me under her wing. She mentored me. And then, of course, she conned me into running for president of the organization, and like getting involved. Like there was a cost. There's Robert.
Wait, how to get our heart. Somebody brought something to the door. Oh golly! So we're going to get a sales pitch from the solar power guy, wouldn't you know?
Oh my gosh! Yes, of course.
That's what live does. I don't have my own professional studio. Thank you, Gerhard, for running interference. The poor guy is like delivering something fabulous from Amazon, and he's delivering solar power on a cloudy day. That's a tough sell. Anyway, I'm so sorry. So continue where you were.
Wait, where was I?
In Sacramento.
Oh yeah, in Sacramento. So of course, she taught me a lot, and the Romance Writers Association taught me a lot, and then she kind of, elbowed me into serving for the chapter, right?
And then you built the community, and that was like, hey, I've got a couple of small kids. I could be making some money here, right? Kind of like.
Yeah, and for the first couple of years, it was our vacation money, right? Whatever the book money was, it was vacation money. It took me 4 years. It took me 4 years from that point to sell a book.
But that's pretty cool, though. My first, as everybody knows, I've been around forever. Crashed my career a couple of times. Have multiple personalities when it comes to but my first book advance was $1,500, and I was so excited. I'm like, wow! And you look at that, that wouldn't even pay. What would that? That wouldn't even pay rent. That would buy maybe groceries for a couple of months, and that's it. But good honk. Yeah. Anyway, but you know what? We all start with humble beginnings, and then we grow, and we get to move on and do really fun things. And I want to say a quick hi to all of you who are now just joining us. I'm seeing you checking in here. So hello, and even through Canada is here. So that's very fun. Wisconsin, and thanks, guys, for joining us. I don't want to not acknowledge you, but we do want to, of course, keep chatting with Melinda. But everybody welcome, and I'm happy you could join us. So so we know now, okay, so you came into this, you were a busy corporate lady, then you were the mom, and now you're going to be the fabulous writer that you have become. But so tell us a little bit before we get into your writing, favorite Melinda things, like what are your what are your favorite? Let's start with food. Favorite food. She's like, anything. Do you even eat?
I do eat, yes. I'm weird because I like peanut butter. Isn't that weird? Like Hawaiian rolls and peanut butter. I could go to a writer's retreat and eat that all day long, and coffee, and I would be fine.
Oh my gosh.
Toss me an apple or a salad, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that too. But I need like my peanut butter and Hawaiian roll.
Oh, that's just too funny. Boy, you are just easy to please. Oh my goodness. So guys,
Right.
if you want to suck up to Melinda, give her here, send her some peanut butter and she'll be happy. Oh,
Right? Oh yeah, it's super chunk, and choosy mothers do not choose Jif in my household. It's Skippy super chunk. Like
oh,
I've tried organic and all these, and Jif, and I always come back to Skippy super chunk. Like
I need to
they should
convert you to
sponsor.
Adams. Oh my goodness, Skippy. Oh dear. Well, thank you, Skippy and Jim, for getting those wonderful promos for peanut butter. Let us never say that we don't give kudos to our favorite products here,
Right? Yes.
Manslandia. So very cool. Okay, so then favorite hobbies. I know you're a gardener.
I do love to garden, and my mom was an avid gardener and was president of her garden club for many, many years. She taught second grade. She was like the warm, fuzzy, loving second grade teacher who gardened. And yeah, and I am embarrassed to say that I do not know the Latin names of plants, and sometimes I get the common names of plants wrong too, but I know what I want to plant. So when we moved from California to Oregon, I was at a loss. I had no idea. And we were renovating this house, and since they added onto the front of the house, they totally bulldozed the front yard. It was just dirt.
Oh wow.
It was all dirt. So I had to kind of figure out. I was at the local nursery so much. They said, would you be willing to pay us to come and design your garden?
Oh, you're kidding. Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
My mom was probably spinning somewhere, you can do it yourself. Get a book, But no, they really helped me. And I found out that they made mistakes too, So
Everybody does.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, in Oregon and Washington are definitely a different climate than California. We had a condo there for a while, and it's such a cool flora and fauna down there. It's just gorgeous. But again, it's a very different animal when you go a little further north and you get some more of the rain and the clouds. And we get things down there that they don't get.
I know. I don't want to bore anybody with flower talk, but like geraniums, hello, my go-to. And there's such a short growing season up here. Pretty much where I live, it's Mother's Day.
Okay.
Mother's Day to October-ish. So geraniums just can't. Geraniums die every year. I was used to them just, flourishing year after year.
Do you have a fabulous garden tip that you would like to share? I know I put you on the spot with that. But since you've done all this gardening over the years, if somebody's kind of a new gardener, what would you advise her?
Don't just plant in the soil. You need to amend the soil. The soil needs to hold moisture, but drain moisture. So you may need to add, like those pearls, or buy a pearl mix, which has the peat to keep it moist, but it also, the moisture will go into the pearls so it won't drown the roots. Oh. We planted a tree and it actually drowned here the first year because we had a horrendous rainstorm and it was not established enough yet.
Oh, wow. Well, so I have a question now then. I mean, they're doing okay. I'm looking out the window now. My blueberry bushes, I should have amended. We have this really cool house on the water, but it came with all deck and no yard, and which is good because I don't want to mow lawns anymore. But so my garden are all in pots, but so I didn't amend anything. I think I put some fertilizer in, but I wonder if now that my blueberries are planted, is it too late to put some little pearls in there, to sprinkle some pearls next spring, to buy some of those and kind of mix them in around the roots?
Yeah, you might want to do that because especially, do you have good drainage? Are they draining into a tray? The
Well,
pot.
yeah, there's a tray, but the trays are totally filled with water right now. I should probably go out and dump the water. Oh, I should go out and
Yeah,
dump the water. Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right, I'm going to go down and do that first thing. I'm not going out tonight because it's getting dark. It'll be cold.
Well,
First thing in the morning.
it sounds dangerous too. Like you could slip if you dump it.
Just dump them off the side of the deck. So there will be no slipping involved. But thank you. That's a good tip. So guys, if you are planning something new, amend the soil. That's a great gardening tip. Nothing to do with writing, but you know what? We are here for you to give you extra bonuses like garden tips.
Hey, we are writers, and in addition to like learning about gardening, I don't think I've ever written about a gardener because I kind of thought it was kind of, I don't know, pedantic, kind of boring, right? I mean, I used to own a horse. I read a lot of cowboy stuff, right?
Somebody has said they read Dandelion Wishes. That was a movie, right?
That was a movie. Look at me. Look at me. I can pull out like Love in Harmony Valley starring Amber Marshall. I love Amber Marshall. She was in that movie with the guide dogs this year on Hallmark. I don't know if anyone watched it. I forget what it was called, but it was just lovely. Yeah.
Oh, how fun. How fun. That is very cool. So you've done a lot. And we're going to get back. I want to tie a little bit later on. I'm going to get talking about some of the other things you've written besides just your Hallmark stuff. But let's talk a little more about favorite things besides gardening. Now, you guys are getting into traveling a little bit, right? Didn't you do some traveling recently? I was trying to talk them into traveling with us when we were doing our British Isles cruise, and then their kids stole them. They stole them from us, and they went with their kids.
Well, we were supposed to go with our kids, and then they backed out, and then we went with my brother. So we did do the British Isles. So we did. My husband used to teach history in high school, and so he wanted to go to Normandy. So we flew over and did the beaches of Normandy first, which is fabulous because our tour guide my husband watches all the war movies, even like the old war movies when they come on. He could just binge war movies all day long. And they would say, this is where they shot Saving Private Ryan when they were coming onto the beach. And this is where whatever.
Oh.
Now, Sheila, have you been to the beaches of Normandy?
No, I don't really have a desire to do the beaches of Normandy, actually.
It was actually
fantastic.
It was so inspiring. I thought that I would be like sipping my coffee.
I know. I'm thinking, because I'm
sitting in the van. But being from the Pacific region, like California and Oregon, our beaches go out, 20, 40, 60 feet, and then they very quickly drop down. The beaches of Normandy go out like this. So when the tide comes in, they have like 40 or 60 feet of sand. When it goes out for 2 miles. And when they landed, they were 2 miles out when these guys landed. So they were under fire for 2 miles. So when we started, the water was out. And as we progressed along all the American beaches that they landed on, it came in further and further. And it's amazing anyone lived,
That's not what of course, movies, give us a false picture of things sometimes.
Right.
It's not what you envision. I mean, they dare the boats and out they hop and they just go in, and they go in and do their thing. So that's kind of an interesting fact to learn, and I too, I do love history. I love that when we travel to learn the history of a town or a city or a country. And my fascination is how the things in history impact the average person. We do to an extent control a lot of what happens in our lives by the choices we make. But sometimes things happen to us because of the choices made by people in leadership or high up or totally removed to us, to leaders of countries say we're going to war, and all of a sudden your son gets drafted, kind of thing. And so the average person can be very, very affected by what is going on the world stage. And so that kind of thing always has fascinated me to read about how was the average person affected by this thing that happened in history. But anyway, fascinating stuff. So hey guys, are you gonna, well then, okay, you love history. Have you thought of writing some historicals? That's a lot of research, I know.
The historicals are my favorite book to read.
I,
My favorite genre. I love historicals. I would never write a word because I would be fascinated with the history, right? And I would get caught up in the corset and what is she going to be wearing and how does it,
yeah,
ugh.
you would get so busy in your research, the book would never get done.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so I have got, let's see, I'm making sure I don't lose any of my notes here and things I want to talk to you about. The move to California, before we get into books. So from California, you were a California girl this time. Why did you end up moving to Oregon? What was the deal?
We have 3 kids, and all 3 kids went to college in Oregon. 2 got married, and none moved back.
That
So,
boy, that says it all.
yeah, yeah.
And
When we had
the
grandkids,
let your children go out of
yeah,
state to school. Well, it's not too far from California, but I bet you do miss the sun a little bit after having grown up in California.
yeah. It was actually sunny here today, but it gets really cold
Yeah.
really quickly.
We can tell she's all bundled up here in her office with her little hat and her scarf and everything on, just trying to stay warm. But that 'tis winter, and that's what we're all doing. I've got my sweater and my scarf on too. Okay, let's move on to books. I'm going to do a show and tell here. I just recently read this. This is fairly new out, isn't it, Melinda? The Small Town Do-Over.
Oh yeah, it came out on a Friday, a week ago Friday. Yeah, look at you. You got your copy already.
I know. Always trying to support my friends. This is a novella, you guys. So it's short. So it's a short read, but it's also sometimes short is very nicely affordable. So this might be a good introduction to you if you're wanting to have a chance to check out Melinda if you haven't read her yet as an author. So that's a fun one to read. But let's talk about some of the other things that you have done. And what have you got coming out this year? I think you have a full-length book coming out, don't you, at some point here soon? Or am I confused?
Yeah, I have something coming out in February, and I don't remember what the name of it is because I am totally blanking, and I haven't gotten the book yet. It's A Small Town Secret, I believe, is what it is. Listen to me. It's so horrible. And then I have, right after that, I have in March, I have A Cowboy for the Twins coming out. I have a series, a small town secret. All my things that say a small town are all set in Harmony Valley, which is where the movie was set. So all those are small town quirky characters. And this cowboy series, it's called the Cowboy Academy.
Oh,
and
so
it has, I know, isn't it cute? I just want to say that there is no burro in this book. There are llamas, but apparently llamas didn't want to come to the photo shoot. So, whatever. It's adorable. It's adorable. But these are all cowboys that were raised on a foster ranch by a couple who couldn't have kids, but they run stock for rodeos around the country. So all the cowboys have either rodeoed or they're still rodeoing or they're working the stock at the rodeo. So it's been really fun to write that series. It's fun to continue my Harmony Valley series beyond what I wrote with Harlequin.
Very cool.
So that's been fun too. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times authors will be like, oh, they only bought 3 books or whatever. I mean, they did buy, I think, 11 of those books. And now I have up through 15 or 16 coming out this year. So
you don't have to stop just because your publisher said stop. You can keep going and doing things if there's
right.
I just want to keep living with these characters a little bit longer. Well, that's a good idea. I like that idea. By the way, so who had said, Susan Lucas has asked, what about time travel historical fiction? Like a Diana Gabaldon, I bet she's thinking of, where you're going back, somebody's traveling back in time. Do you like that kind of thing?
I do. Suzanne Brockman wrote one time. I don't know if you remember this book. I don't remember what it was called. And it was fabulous. She writes contemporary romance, and here she wrote time travel. And I thought, well, just try it. You know how it is. You have your favorite authors and you're like, do I want to try that as they branch out? And then as it gets closer and closer to the book coming out, you're like, you kind of get withdrawals. Like, well, what if I don't? Like,
Yeah.
what if I
Yeah.
don't? And it was actually fabulous. I think that would be great. Right now, I think I'm juggling like 4 series in my head.
Oh my
So
goodness, you're going to be busy for a long time to catch.
yeah, yeah, it's a little bit. Actually, I was going to. I don't know if I. What if I join chat? I was going to try to drop in a link to a free novella for my rom-com series. Have you
If you
read
could
that
ever
rom-com
do that,
series?
I don't know how to do that here. I'm just doing well to keep us streaming.
It's so
So,
funny. So
oh,
um,
I love the cover. A kiss
these
is just
covers are so
like the title.
fun. Yeah. And in this series, there's Grandma Dorothy, who's called Grandma Dottie, is she goes to visit all her grandchildren, but she has a bucket list. Like when she was in Florida, she wanted to drive an airboat through the Everglades. So she kind of,
Mhm.
elbowed the driver out of the way and tipped the
Oh
boat
my
over.
gosh. Oh
Well, by Big Al, you know, the big alligator on the tour. So
my.
yeah, she's always getting people into trouble. So that's really fun. That's a really fun series that I have. And I think there are 5 books out in that series. And then I have 2 more coming out in it this year. So
You are busy. Well, you've already got, Anne has posted that she just downloaded The Small Town Do-Over. It's on Kindle Unlimited. So that's very good. And Tanya asks, what was the name of the movie that you mentioned and was on Hallmark recently? I love the Heartland.
oh, somebody in the comments had it. I saw it scroll by. It was something about whoever it was, say again. I forget who it was.
Yeah, I don't see anything coming through, but I'll try and keep my eyes
But it
peeled.
had Amber Marshall, and she was a guide dog trainer, and the hero had lost his eyesight and was potentially going to lose his job if he couldn't learn how to navigate, with the dog. So she was working with him.
Okay.
My Christmas guide, Diane Clark
Oh, there we
says.
go. Okay, thank you for posting that, Diane. By the way, Nancy has posted that A Small Town Secret releases February 16th, 2024. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yay, people who know what my life is.
And somebody just said, do you have a new series coming out at any time? Well, this is kind of part of a series. Would this count as part of a series?
That is part of the Love and Harmony Valley series, and there
Okay, that's
are that's out right now. That's book 10. Technically, they call it a book, even if it's a novella. And then I have the Summer Kisses Grandma Dottie series, and then I have the Cowboy Academy series. And then, do I have anything else? Do I have another series?
Don't tell me you're running out of things.
Oh, all the Christmas Town people. Yeah, every Christmas I get together with my friends and we write a Christmas Town story that's all connected. So this Lights Camera Christmas Town is about making a movie in a small town.
And, oh my gosh, I have to get that.
And there are every story is connected. So it starts with the producer, and I'm in there. I think my heroine does the makeup and my hero does the lighting, so it goes through all of it. But that's really fun. And that's a series. This is like book 8, collection number 8. So we've been, Crazy Town doing that, and it's fun. I actually like collaborating with people. We share characters. We have a trio of matchmaking elderly women they call themselves the naughty elves. They knit, so they make knots, right? Get it? The naughty elves. Yeah, I thought that was cute too.
That's so cute. Well, now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you were out on a movie set. Did your movie come out?
Yeah, that was, oh golly, that was Christmas before this. That was Christmas on Candy Cane Lane. That came out on the Great American Family Channel. And that was really fun to visit the set. Oh my goodness. It's so fun to see how they create this movie magic and how they turn it into, Christmas, but it isn't winter. Very, 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 very fun. I was a little shocked on that though, because that was based on one of my Icicle Falls books. And one of the key characters in that was Muriel Sterling, who'd gone through a couple of husbands, and she has taken over writing like self-help motivational books. And Muriel Sterling, in this movie, Muriel Sterling was no longer with us. I'm going, Seriously, you guys got rid of Muriel. How dare you do? And of course, they dare do that because it is their project. And once you sell movie rights, then they'll say, "Goodbye, author. No, we just don't want to see you. You can come and bring us cookies, but otherwise, don't tell us what to do." So once and you know how that goes, right? I mean, once you sell movie rights, then it's somebody else's creative baby, and they go off in another direction. But Muriel Sterling is still with us because in my upcoming May 2024 book, The Best Life Book Club, these women, they're reading all these books, and these books, all except for Jane Eyre, came out of the fertile brain of Sheila. So there are quotes from all these books, and there are quotes from Muriel Sterling books. So Muriel Sterling is still with us, dishing out wonderful advice for one and all. So, so there you have it. But anyway, but it was fun. It was great fun. It was really cute, and I think you always have to remember that when you're getting a movie made from your book, then let go of any expectations and just enjoy the ride, enjoy meeting the people and the actors. Yeah, because it's fun. It's fun. It's not going to be exactly like your book.
Well, one of the things that I didn't think about was they took the grandmother character in Dandelion Wishes for the movie that was made. And because they sold a series of 3 movies in a row to Great American Family Channel, or whatever they're calling themselves now. One of the grandmother characters had, or maybe she was a great aunt, I don't know, in somebody else's movie, had the same kind of sundowners dementia that my grandmother had. So she couldn't be kind of, she got caught in the opening scene in my book, dancing in her tutu and her rain boots.
I love that.
Just singing in the rain. Well, it turned out when in the casting, the grandmother was wearing all gray and she was a battle axe. And I was like, who is that character?
I know, that's really frustrating.
What is that character? And then they said, well, the network did not want us to get stereotyped for having these same kind of, grandmotherly characters. So we had to change yours because yours was the 3rd movie in the package. I was like, I never would have thought of that. I mean, go ahead and do it, but could you have warned me? Because I showed up on set. My editor was there and she's like, who is that character? And I'm like, I have no idea who that character is. And so we're mumbling to each other, like, who is that character? And of course, my husband's there, like, snapping pictures because he doesn't read my books and he's just like having a great old time.
Having a wonderful time. He doesn't care. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Yeah, that was my husband. We have so much fun when we get to visit a set. And this was several years ago when we had visited the set of 9 Lives, and I had just finished my last chemo treatment. I was wearing my cute little wig, and that was fun because we got to have a little cameo appearance on it. So that was really fun. But he was having a great time hanging out. And you guys, I know we've said this before, when they do these movies, they're there for hours and hours. They're 12-hour days. They're just there till they drop because they have a schedule they have to get done by. Yeah. And I mean, after a while, I think after 8 hours or so, I was just exhausted. I said, oh, we should probably, they're probably, you don't want us to leave. And he go, oh no, they're fine. And finally I said, I have to go. I am exhausted. It's been fun, but now I have to leave, dear. But anyway, so they kept on working without me. But anyway, that was
fun. Yeah. They shot like a transition scene where the hero and heroine were in a winery, and the director, I was sitting by the director, and he just kept saying to them, look like you're falling in love. Look like you're falling in love. But they didn't have any lines. They were just interacting with the wine at the winery and, pouring each other wine or looking at the little tchotchke gifts or whatever. An hour and a half. And that was like
looking like you're falling in love.
90 seconds in the movie, 90 seconds. And by that time, I had not had my afternoon coffee. It was like 3:30. And I was just going, oh my gosh, could someone just have a scene where they talk so I can hear my words and then be like, oh.
Oh, that's just that. Yeah, I mean that really is a thrill. The same with us. So they were doing a restaurant scene from the movie when we were there, and oh my gosh, I can't believe how many. We have to get the lighting right. We have to look at the stand-in actors. Then we have to shoot from this angle. Then we have to shoot from this angle. And then somebody was supposed to get up from the restaurant and walk out like they were going to the bathroom and then come back in. Well, they walked out and forgot to come back in, so we had to reshoot. I mean, it is so all these things that go on with trying to bring a story to life. It is so much work. My hat is off to the people who do
Yeah.
this because
Even
really
like
is.
the makeup hair lady,
Oh my
she
goodness.
told the supporting actress, she was like, you can only pull your hair over your left shoulder. You
Wow.
cannot, because she would fiddle with her hair, and she's like, no, for continuity, you have to always pull your hair over this shoulder.
Yeah, things we don't think of, we take
Yeah.
for granted when we watch a movie. I have to say a
Mhm.
quick hi. My relative Deborah Godfrey is here. She said, I finally caught alive. I just want to say hi, kind of like saying hi, Mom, but hi, Deborah. And again, all of you who have been joining us as we've been talking, we really appreciate that. Well, we've talked about a lot of the things that you've done, but I don't want to end our conversation without mentioning that Melinda, besides being just a brilliant, wonderful writer, is a really good teacher. And she has written how-to books for writers. I have one, and I want you to just address that real quickly. Tell us a little bit about that book now. You just
Oh
happen
my
to
gosh. No, you are not up to date, because I have actually 2 books out now. So what happened was, I am one course shy of a psychology minor, not a major, a minor. I'm a business major. And I was fascinated by psychology, as I think a lot of writers are, especially in romance, right? Because we take our characters on journeys, and it's almost like we put them through therapy. Instead of them coming to talk to us, we put them through stuff to help make them grow. So I was, talking about this to my critique partners, and they were saying, we don't get it. We don't get it. And I started to say, it's like in this movie, like Cher in Moonstruck, right?
Mhm.
Her husband got hit by a bus. She was made a widow. And that's, in psychology, the common term for that is abandonment. You
Oh.
either feel like you can't trust again, so you avoid people, or you get with people that you aren't going to fall in love with, right? And so Cher wanted to get married again because she was lonely, but she wanted to get married to somebody that she wouldn't be in love with, so that if he got hit by a bus, she would not be devastated and heartbroken again, right?
Mm.
And so when I said that, and I'm like, and these are the things that psychology says that you should learn to, books have been written by psychologists to train other psychologists about this. And I thought this was fascinating. And so, yeah, I ended up creating unforgettable characters for that.
I have that book. Excellent.
Yeah. And then last year I came out with Putting Story on the Page, which basically goes through the different parts of the story and what you should be focusing on. And it dissects The Martian. Remember that movie?
Oh,
The
yeah, I love
Martian?
that movie.
Yeah. It dissects that movie, and also one of my books to go through and say, okay, so this is what's happening here, and this is how this character is reacting here, and this is what you should, and try to come up with scenes for this. So it's really designed for a little bit for the beginning writer, but a little bit for in case you get stuck halfway through the book, as I used to always get stuck halfway through the book.
I love that. And before I let you go, I'm wondering, we might have somewhere a beginning or aspiring writer who's listening. Can you just share out a couple of tidbits of tips for somebody who's just kind of starting this journey? What would be your advice to a new writer?
Wow, I would take the books that really resonate with you on your keeper shelf and look at the high points. Or even, I do this with a lot of movies and TV now. I kind of dissect, why didn't I like this ending? Or why didn't I like this character? Why didn't that show resonate with me? Because there's a lot to be learned just by the self-awareness of thinking about, why did I love this person? Was there a piece of dialogue that they said, or something that went on in their head that just really struck me? Because those are the kind of stories and characters that are going to be easier for you to write, instead of, let's say, writing to market at first when you learn. I had somebody way back when I started, and I forget who she was, but she was a very wise woman. And she said, you think by 5 books that you know how to write a book, but it's really not until 10 or 11.
No, yeah, I feel like I'm still learning. It's just a never ending,
Yeah,
always something you can be learning about this
there's
process.
always something new that comes up. And so I think you just need to keep writing and be open to learning. And one way of learning is, having an editor work with you, whether you pay somebody or you're submitting to somebody, or right. I mean, they can point out things that you don't find. I find my editor finds something wrong that I have a new mistake every time.
Wow, that's just amazing. Well, so there you go, folks. There's some great tips for you. And I have to laugh here. We're going to have a show. Oh, there it is. I had just lost my cursor. I thought, well, we'll be here forever because I can't find the cursor to end the stream. Oh dear, it's always an adventure going live. But anyway, I do want to wrap it up and say, thank you so much for spending time with us, guys. If you haven't read her, check out Amazon. Oh, and Shopify. You have a store where people can buy. Where else can they buy your books before we go?
They can buy on my Shopify, which is basically shopmelindacurtis.myshopify.com. Or
Okay.
they can go out to YouTube to author Melinda Curtis, and I have a lot of my backlist is up there. You can listen to things, see if you like it, check it out and see if you like it. I always like to, it's if you're buying off Amazon or off Barnes and Noble, you can't look through the book. Remember how I used to look through the books? Some
Yeah.
books you can't even read the first chapter, and so I just find it's easier for me. I'm doing a lot of shopping out on YouTube now, like listening to people's books. I'll listen to like the first scene and, if I like it, and then go out and buy the book.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that. I may have
Yeah.
to get easy and start doing some reading once my little pre-cancer spot on my nose gets healed.
Oh,
I don't look like Rudolph any more than I have to. But anyway, thank you again, guys. And I want to thank all of you for joining us. It's always lovely when we can all chat together, and watch out for all Melinda's next fabulous books. And I will be talking to you all again soon. So good night, everybody. And thanks for coming.
good night. Thanks for having me.